Euaoi.
Remember back a few months ago when a YouTuber named CGP Grey rated the US state flags on a tier list? For those of you who don't remember, he failed a lot of US states because they either wrote their name, had a cluster design, or had a generic seal on blue flag design. One state that was guilty of doing all three was the state of Minnesota, which Grey said had the worst state flag design.
Next, Minnesota. Terrible. Oof, this is just terrible. Your name isn't as big and bad as the other bluebells, but the busyness is bottom tier bad. Wisconsin, I was too harsh on you before. This is the worst flag in the union. Come on, Minnesota, you're America's blonde scion of Scandinavia. A classic flag designs itself. But this, I need a visual palette cleanser now.
Apparently, some important people from the Minnesota state government must have watched that video because it was recently announced that Minnesota is getting a new state flag. And they would let the people submit their designs for what they think the new state flag should look like. Also, I'm aware CGP Grey made his video regarding Minnesota's new flag design, but it's unfortunately behind a member paywall. Well, at least this one's free to watch. There ended up being over 2,000 submissions for what the new state flag should look like. Sure, a lot of them were either poorly drawn, just pictures of the current state flag, or were just joke submissions. On November 21st, 2023, the State Emblems Redesign Commission narrowed the large pool down to 6 flag designs, which are referred to as the Finalists. One thing I noticed about the designs is that a lot of them fall into one of a few categories. There's the Loon design, the Nordic cross design, and an 8-sided star called L'Étoile du Nord, which is a French phrase meaning the Star of the North. It is the motto of the US state of Minnesota. However, I'm just going to refer to it as an 8-sided star going forward because I'm going to be saying that a lot in this video and it would just be easier on the tongue for me. Without further ado, let's look into the various design trends for Minnesota's new flag. One design trend that I noticed a lot when browsing through the submissions is seeing a lot of loons. Many of these loon designs featured white silhouettes of loons resting in the water, like in submissions 13, 17, 335, 590, 1190, and 1818. Some submissions featured more realistic drawings of loons, like submissions 38, 54, 109, 141, 176, and 884. There are also submissions 70 and 509, which feature JPEGs of loons lazily slapped on there. There's submission 43, which features a loon spreading its wings rather than having it in the sitting position. Last but not least, there are submissions 408 and 948, which feature a close-up of a loon with a detailed eye. Of all the designs to feature the loon, my favorite would probably have to be submission 437, mainly because I like the unique tricolor of purple, orange, and teal, even if the colors don't represent anything. And the loon itself is the most detailed you could get it to be for a flag without having it be too over-detailed. Another design trend that I noticed when browsing the submissions would be the Nordic cross pattern. This is mainly because Minnesota was a popular destination for Scandinavian immigrants to the United States. A lot of the Nordic cross designs came in a blue, white, and green tricolor, such as submissions 47, 90, 179, 189, 196, 257, and 260. Some submissions feature blue and yellow as prominent colors like in the Swedish flag, such as submissions 112, 187, 368, 426, and 614, with 614 in particular feeling like a direct copy and paste of Sweden's flag. And then there's flag 705, which is just Finland's flag, but with a star at the intersections. Some submissions went a little more unique with the colors, like in submissions 174, 640, 1403, and 1827. Some designs gave the Nordic cross a more American aesthetic, like in submissions 1259 and 1303. There were even some Nordic cross designs that had a loon on them as well, like in submissions 266 and 1902. There were some Nordic cross designs that feature a northern star to some extent, like in submissions 310, 389, 436, 448, 539, and 939. Other designs include submission 452, which is just the flag of Finland with the colors inverted, and submission 723, which includes a little pine tree. Of the Nordic cross designs, my favorite would probably have to be submission 1146, mainly because it merges the Nordic cross with the Northern Star so beautifully, and it uses it with colors associated with Minnesota. Even in flag design, there were still some joke submissions. Some of the joke submissions were just weird. One weird design was Submission 41, which is just a picture of a wooden floor. There's also Submission 56, which featured a scribble that eerily resembles the symbol of World War II Germany. There's Submission 59, which is a spoof of California's flag, but the bear is replaced with a mosquito. Funny enough, Submission 223 is a picture of the California state flag. There's Submission 61, which is just the LGBT pride flag with the flag of Somalia as the canton. Why do I feel like this submission was to make a political statement? There's Submission 119, which is just a white flag with the word bag written across it, which is how Minnesotans pronounce the word bag. There's Submission 129, which features a raised white fist on a black background, another politically motivated flag. There's Submission 156, which is just a picture of someone's dog. There's Submission 184, which is just the Canadian flag but blue. There's Submission 253, which is just an acid trip of a flag. Why did I say acid trip? What I meant to say was absolute masterpiece. There's Submission 274, which is just the Gadsden flag. There's the Socialist State of Minnesota for Submission 332. There's Submission 420, which makes a Nordic cross out of the bisexual flag. There's Submission 589, which is the Confederate flag with text reading, "From our extremely cold dead hands. Capture the flag champions, 1867 to present." Even though this next one isn't a joke submission, I just really like the artwork for Submission 657. There's also Submission 1018, a sloppily put together flag of a poorly drawn smiley face with Minnesota written across in bad handwriting, with the Star of David added there for some unknown reason. There's Submission 1304, which is just a white rectangle with UFDA written in blue font, whatever that means. And lastly, there are also flags with the hammer and sickle on them, one with a blue background and another with a green background for Submissions 1503 and 1646 respectively. Ultimately, 6 designs were chosen from the large pool of submissions to be strong contenders for the new flag. Funny enough, none of these flags feature loons or the Nordic cross despite a lot of the submissions featuring them. The first finalist is Submission 29, which features a navy blue banner with a yellow 4-sided star under a white snowflake. While I think this is a solid design, the only problem is that there's very little contrast between the white on yellow. The next flag, Submission 944, which also happens to be my favorite of the 6 finalists, features a navy blue banner with light blue and white curved lines to represent flowing water, with a yellow 4-sided star in the upper left corner. I found this flag to be my favorite because I love the motion that's associated with it. The next flag, Submission 1154, features a green and blue horizontal bicolor with a blue 4-sided star within a white 8-sided star. This is also another flag that does so much more by doing so much less. The next flag, Submission 1435, features a blue banner with a yellow 8-sided star in the upper left corner with a series of green geometric shapes in the form of what I believe is supposed to be a tree. There's also some stitching on the sides of the flag for some reason. This is probably my least favorite of the 6 finalists because the green parts feel so unnecessary and just take up space. The next flag, Submission 1953, is a horizontal tricolor of white, green, and light blue with what I think is an inverted chevron of navy blue with a white northern star. I don't get the inverted chevron, I think it takes too much away from the tricolor. Other than that, very solid flag. The last flag, Submission 2100, is a green bottom half separated by a white wavy line from a navy blue upper half with a big northern star in the upper center. I'm not a big fan of this flag design. I don't know, something about it just feels off for me. There were also some flags that I liked that didn't make the finals. One of those flags was Submission 58, which features a tricolor of black, blue, and pink with an insignia in the center of a buck with a star between its antlers. I like this flag because it makes a unique usage of colors and the buck is not too overly complicated to draw. Another flag that I liked was Submission 154. It features a light blue upper half with a white star in the upper center with a dark blue lower half separated by white strokes representing a body of water. I like this flag because the flag is simple while feeling like a total vibe. I don't know how else to describe it. Another flag I also thought was good would be Submission 364, and it features a blue upper half with a white 5-sided star over a gray 5-sided star in the upper center with the green lower half separated by 2 thin red and orange lines. I think the red and orange lines provide a nice sense of depth in this image, but that's just me. This next flag I found to be a thing of optical beauty, and that's Submission 769, which features a horizontal bicolor of light and dark blue, with the light blue diamond in the dark blue half casting a light blue shade in the dark blue half. I like this flag because I believe it provides a nice sense of 3D depth. Another good bicolor for me would be Submission 811. It features a green upper half and a blue lower half with an 8-sided star, with each quadrant of that star being a different color. White for the upper left, yellow for the upper right, black for the lower left, and red for the lower right. The only complaint is that I wish either the black and white or the yellow and red were switched to provide more of a contrast, but overall I liked the usage of colors. Another flag is Submission 869, which features a navy blue banner with thin yellow and green stripes in the center with a white curved chevron on the left. I like this flag because I mainly liked the curved chevron. A flag that also includes the details behind the meaning of the flag is Submission 907 and features a design with its elements and what they symbolize. The fact that the submitter provides insight is why I like this flag so much. I also think the design is really neat. Another flag that I liked was Submission 1389, which features a dark blue diagonal half in the lower right part of the flag with a white 4-sided star in it. The upper left diagonal half features a green upper part with a teal lower part. It could just be me, but I think the two different shades of green provide greater depth. The last design is Submission 1408, and it features a purple banner with a white 8-sided star with a light blue outline in the upper left corner, with light blue and white lines throughout the bottom right half. I like the optical usage of the light blue and white lines, even though I don't know what it's supposed to represent. Which flag design was your favorite? Do you agree or disagree with any of my opinions in this video? Feel free to leave your takes in the comments below, and I'll see you next time.